Thank you. I'm so impressed by everyone who took the time to come out today, but know that you're not alone, that for each one of you here, you're representing dozens of your friends and family members who, in the amazing words of Kristen, WTF. And I'm hearing that from all sides of the spectrum. Conservatives, liberals, people who really didn't know that politics was happening. So here's what I'm here to talk about. I'm just a mom in a minivan. I have 4 kids, which is why I thought that this shirt said repeal abs, and I was like, mine are gone. Like, repeal AB5. Okay, yeah, I'm in. Sorry, I missed that. I came out to California, but it wasn't my first stop on the American dream. I came here from another country. I came here from Jamaica in 1976, along with this man. And if anyone can tell you about people having lots and lots of jobs, it's Jamaican immigrants. Thank you very much. You add that to someone who wants to be an actor, and I've done it all. I was the door girl at Lux. I helped run a poetry reading at Cafe Largo. That was all the rage back in 90-something. I was a temp. I've been a secretary. I've read people's scripts and proofread them. I've done all sorts of gigs, and that was before I had a family to take care of. Kira is right. This is an anti-family piece of legislation. First and foremost, because quite honestly, politics is like stabbing yourself in the eyeball with a ice pick over and over again. The only sort of mildly sexy, interesting part is presidential politics. Happens every 4 years. People get really into their side versus the other side. Guess what affects your life? The very bottom of the ballot. And we don't notice what's on the bottom of the ballot in California because it's so freaking long. Who sticks around to make all those votes, you wonder? Could it be the people? Well, informed citizens, but who in large groups elects people? People who are, I'm not going to say they're paid off, but I'll just say the public sector unions put $2 billion into California elections every cycle. That's every 2 years. So people are making sure to vote for people who are going to do their jobs. Now, let me talk a little bit differently, not about the specifics of AB5, but about California. What is California? What makes us different from the other 49, aside from the incredibly increasing homeless population and our fabulous weather? The gig economy, precisely because people, and by the way, some of those people did get a $400,000 education, and now to pay off those loans, they go a little bit on the side. Or you just want the freedom to buy the Tesla, so you get a little bit, whatever. I don't care what reason it is you're doing whatever job. Maybe it's paying for the liposuction, whatever it is. There's things you want, and they take money, and you should be free to do whatever you want to do to make that money. They've made it free to sell pot and to do all sorts, open a restaurant outside of another restaurant on the street. So if they're so pro-freedom for that, why are they not pro-freedom for my time? I have a family, and my family is more important to me than anything. If I can work out a way to make some money while the kids are in school, but I'm back at pickup, and I get to go to the concerts, and I get to go to the basketball games, then that's my business. It's not yours. So California, by the way, is, we all know, it's the dream factory. Hollywood is here, and we attract all the best looking people from every town across America, and they come here. And we look like it, because we all look fabulous. And the fact is that all those people want the freedom to support themselves so they can go to auditions, so you can go to the dance class, so you can go to reception. The fact is, this state is built on freedom. When my mom moved out here, and took her to a yoga class, and she said, what are all these people doing here at 11 o'clock in the morning? Like, how do people do this? Are they all not working? I was like, no, they're working in a way of their own choosing. They decide. After about a couple months, my mom was like, I don't think I can work a regular job again. And she doesn't. But AB5's coming after her too. So how did this happen? George Orwell, who's been mentioned here before, said the aim of the high is to remain where they are. And while Sacramento doesn't seem like the sexiest location, for about 80 people in the assembly and another 35 or so in the state senate, they are the coolest kids in high school where they never were before. And they get to run our lives because we're busy paying attention to our real lives. And so they put out dreck that is incomprehensible and longer than the Constitution for one purpose, two purposes: power and money. Follow the money.
Yes.
I ran for assembly last year because I thought it was important as an American citizen to participate in the process. And what I learned, I used to have straight hair. It would curl your hair. It is horrifying how little they are paying attention to us. By the way, this goes for Republican and Democrat. And the Green. There's a Republican that voted for AB 5, and his people are gunning for his butt. The fact is that they're anti-freedom because they're owned, paid for, bought, a wholly owned subsidiary of, forget big corporations, it's bigger than that. And when you have a supermajority, you get to be a bully in a way that I don't think we'd even dream of. I can't control my 4 kids the way that the California legislature wants to control us. Lorena Gonzalez, by the way, married to a former Republican, cares about what you think. That when parents came, tears streaming to her office to talk about problems that their kids had had with vaccinations, whatever you feel about that bill, she told them to go pound sand. People affected by AB 5, and by the way, Kevin Kiley and Melissa Melendez are putting together an entire book. They have a book. They're going to have a rally in Sacramento on Tuesday the 28th at 10 a.m. And they're giving a book to every one of their fellow assemblymen. I would kind of wish they'd also give them a copy of Economics for Dummies, but hey, that's just my dream. The fact is, they don't care because they think they don't need to listen to us. And so far, they've been right because we really just don't have the bandwidth to pay attention. So here's how you find your state assemblyman. You go to, and I wrote it down because of course it's not just a simple website, it's findyourrep.legislature.ca.gov. If you Google how to find my rep in California, you'll find it. You'll probably come up, you'll enter your address, and 2 names will come up of people you've never heard from in your life. You don't know who they are, and when you start to see the things they've said, you're like, these people aren't part of the brain trust. If my life is gonna be run by someone, I'd like it to be Stephen Hawking level smart. I would like it to be someone who can put 2 sentences together. That is not the truth for most of the California Assembly, and that's why, partly, our founders wanted citizens to go, serve, and leave, and get back to the farm or whatever their job was, so that they maintained a connection to the people, the land, and the freedom that is America. Having fled the non-freedom and no longer a British subject, I can tell you it's very, very different to be in America. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we cannot lose it. So find your rep, call your rep, email your rep, let them know politely what you think about AB 5, and then don't forget about Lorena. Let Lorena know. Now, what's the language that politicians speak that I had to learn? And by the way, so I've been an actress for 30 years. I actually got to make a living and had insurance and everything. What's the language that they speak in Sacramento?
Money.
Money and power. When they feel threatened, they pay attention. Lorena has someone running against her in this election. His name is John Vogel. He's a regular guy. He actually has a job, so he's not, schmoozing people all the time. Go to Vogel for Assembly. That's VOGEL, 4, assembly.com. I don't know him personally, but I know a guy who does, and he says he's a really good guy, so I'm going with that. And that's all we have to go on in assembly races, because California, LA especially, quietly moved all their races onto the presidential and gubernatorial calendar. So it's really hard for people running in those little races to afford to get their messages out. That's why you haven't heard from them ever. Because who can come, if people are if Bloomberg and Trump and the RNC and the DNC are spending millions of dollars on TV ads, what chance does a little person just trying to represent their neighborhood have? Not a lot. So Vogel for Assembly, Kiley and Melendez's thing on Friday, but most importantly, get to the bottom of the ballot. Realize that the stuff that affects your daily life is coming out of, as my husband calls it, excremento. That's Sacramento.
Excremento.
And we do not want them running our lives. We want the freedom to choose. The California legislature is basically two wolves and a sheep deciding on what's for dinner. Don't be for dinner, folks. Get out there, repeal it.